Good evening everybody, and welcome once again to the White Rock Caves here in Hastings, the home of the True Crime Museum, where we hope to see you very, very soon. Tonight we're going to be investigating the case of Michele de Lupo. We're going all the way back to swinging London in 1986. He was a very attractive man. He was a male model. He was also a soldier in the Italian elite special forces, the equivalent of our SAS. He moved to this country and he became the manager of the Yves Saint Laurent boutique on Brompton Road. It was an era of great terror. AIDS had become a major media sensation, and everybody was terrified, especially within the gay community, of this killer disease. Michele de Lupo, or Michael Lupo as he became known when he moved to this country, or Rudy as he was known when he was touring the gay bars of London. He later became known as the Silken Strangler or the Wolfman of London. Lupo is Italian for wolf. He was very active within the 80s gay scene in London, and he boasted of having over 4,000 lovers. He included amongst these lovers Freddie Mercury, the singer with Queen, who died later of AIDS, and also Kenny Everett, the comedian, who also died of AIDS in the late 80s, early 90s. De Lupo became more and more experimental and daring and sadistic with his sexual activities. He would cruise the pubs and the clubs, Heaven, Prince of Wales, the Cohern, and he would pick up sexual partners and take them back to a basement flat in Kensington. He would tie them up. He was into the S&M scene, and things started to get more and more gruesome, especially after he discovered that he had AIDS. In May of 1986, a young gay guy called David Cole, after much deliberation and soul searching, went to the police at Kensington and said, "I was attacked, I was picked up in a pub at Nine Elms in London and was attacked. This guy strangled me and left me for dead, and it happened a couple of weeks ago." The police took his story quite seriously because they had previously found two other gay men who'd been sexually assaulted, strangled, abused, mutilated, bitten. One of them was James Burns, who was found in March of that year. The other was Anthony Connolly, who was found a month later. So the police actually gave this witness some credibility. Previously they might not have done. There were great tensions in the era between the gay community and the police. They decided to take him around the pubs and clubs of London in order to see whether he could identify this man who had picked him up and attempted to strangle him with a silk sock. Eventually, after much cruising around the pubs and clubs of London with the police in tow, David Cole grabbed the arm of the policeman next to him and said, that's the man who picked me up and attempted to strangle me with a silk sock." The police anticipated that De Lupo would say absolutely nothing when he got to the police station. They thought that, being a very confident, articulate, educated and flamboyant man, he would just call his solicitor and say, "I've got nothing to say about this matter. David Cole is completely mistaken. It was somebody else who must have picked him up and attempted to strangle him." Quite the opposite. De Lupo couldn't let the words out fast enough, and he quickly admitted to the killing of Anthony Connolly and James Burns and a further victim who the police knew nothing about, Damien McCluskey. He then went on to astonish them with a tale of how he had killed a man on Hungerford Bridge in London who had asked him for a cigarette. He lost his temper with this vagrant man and beat him to death and strangled him. There was great speculation at the time from police and the media as to what drove Michele de Lupo to kill. Was it the positive HIV diagnosis? Was he driven to revenge on the gay community, of which he was a very active member, because he had contracted AIDS and his lifestyle was destined to be cut short? Or did he recognise that, given his limited life expectancy, he could indulge his most weird, excessive, sadistic impulses, and that his sexual activity got worse and worse and worse until it led to the ultimate thrill for him, which was murder? We will never know. He never spoke about what motivated him to commit these crimes. The judge passed a life sentence on De Lupo, saying, although you have a life-limiting disease, it would be wrong of me to pass any other judgment upon you. And he died in prison in 1995, but not before leaving us with some remarkable artworks, one of which we have here at the True Crime Museum. It's signed by Lupo and it's called The Wolfman of London. It's a depiction of the B-movie actor Lon Chaney Jr. In the movie The Wolfman. It's a stunning piece of art, and we hope that you will come along to the museum and see it shortly.